So we are here for a fair, free, and sustainable and progressive world, and we're going to listen to 3 panels on fair, free, and sustainable, and then conversation with our leaders, and then speeches. And then for the first panel, I would like to welcome Udo Bullmann, which is a member of the European Parliament since 1999, our leader with the inside of the Socialist and Democratic group in the European Parliament, standing on the frontier, fighting towards our political opponents and advancing our agenda. Please, Udo, welcome.
Ao realizar aqui a cerimónia histórica da assinatura do Tratado de Adesão de Portugal às comunidades europeias.
As we are here to celebrate the adhesion of Portugal to the European community, we would like to announce that the
condição essencial para a construção do futuro.
Wir müssen gleichberechtigt in die deutsche Einheit eintreten, gleichberechtigt, sozial ausgewogen, mit guter europäischer Gesinnung.
Quindi per me è un miracolo che l'Europa è esistita finora e speriamo che questo miracolo continui. Sì.
Sorry. I would like also to introduce to Maria João Rodrigues, a very well-known Portuguese politician. She is the Vice President of the S&D Group in the European Parliament, President of her foundation, FEPS. She is the mother of social pillar and the brain of the brains.
So please take your... You start?
Yeah. So I will start, Udo. I will pose you a question, okay? So,
Sure.
Social inequalities have been rising, and we can see anger and disillusion taking the streets. How can we imagine an ecological transition that is not a burden for people in distress, but whose costs are shared by all?
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for this question. We had already started yesterday in discussing the whole context of sustainable transition, and please allow me to welcome a good friend of ours who has been teaching us for so long to come back on the right path as a socialist family. Jeffrey Sachs, welcome to our Congress.
We start now to check the clock.
Is in the first row of those who promote sustainable development to save the planet. And he is also in the first row of those addressing us, Social Democrats in Europe, coming across the Atlantic telling us, please, guys, be courageous. You have assets, but these assets bring peace to the fight we need now worldwide, because if the European Union is not going to deliver, the whole planet cannot be saved. Thanks, Jeff, for your commitment, and thanks, comrades, for afterwards listening to him and following his advice, because we are reorganizing ourselves. What we did in the Socialists and Democrats group for the last years, yes, indeed, we reorganized our structures thanks to our vice presidents. I started that together with Kathleen van Bremt, who is here today, who has an enormous input in the whole development, with Eric Andrieux, with Isabel, with Mercedes Presso, Isabel Thomas. These were the leading people getting us on the track on sustainable development. And they were fighting for one idea for years, and this idea is good, and we adopted that. This idea is don't talk separately about the policy fields anymore. Bring them together, break up the silos. Once legislation is coming from the Commission, please, and I know very much that Franz Timmermans is fully behind this approach, please check it on the impact. The legislation has to be checked on the impact. What is it doing to the economy? What is it doing to the environment? What are the prospects for labor? And what are the prospects for the social dimension of the European Union? This is our strategy now. We have brought into the game holistic teams. We are breaking up the silos. We are bringing together the best experts of our party group, and we are ahead of all the other groups because the way in which we treat legislation is much more smart. All our commissioners, we know that those who are very, very committed to environment question support us on that. This is the future. And this is also our demand for the next commission. I guess Maria will continue on that. We expect a commission that is also working holistically and not only single-minded in the different policy fields. Why is that so important? And this is the question, just transition. How can we manage that? Look at France. We were discussing that yesterday. Yes, of course, there is a need that the consumption of our natural resources have a correct price. We have to know what the price is for the whole globe, for whole humankind, and we cannot go cheap here. So we understand the logic that the consumption of our resources has to become more expensive and that we have to support renewables wherever we can because this is the future. But you cannot execute that, and that is the mistake of President Macron. You cannot implement that as a top-down elite strategy against the people without the people. What you have to realize is that your society has to be responsive and that you need the people to successfully transform our societies. By the people, with the people, in a bottom-up as well as in a strategic national and European exercise. This is the big mistake, and now he has to answer to the yellow jackets because people are responding to that. And at the same time, you cannot just say, ordinary people, you have to pay twice. You have low wages, and then we are going to raise the taxes, and then the response from society is, how should I make ends meet? In the midst of the month, I cannot pay for my heating. In the midst of the month, I do not know how to feed the kids and send them properly to school. This is the major mistake of a typical liberal, dear comrades. We are social democrats. We are social democrats. We are socialists. We offer support. Yes, those who say, like Macron is saying, we reform the European institutions, could be our ally if he understands that this is about the social as well and about the functioning, the social functioning of a society, and it's about the empowerment of the people. The empowerment of the people is the decisive resource for ours. If he does not understand, then he is a competitor. So it's his choice, not our choice, because we know about that. We know about that. And we know exactly where to go, because we set up a match plan. Sustainable transition, sustainable equality, this is the headline of the work of our group. We have set out an independent commission with Paul Rasmussen, Luca Cazzeli, and more than 30 experts from all over the world, producing a book with more than 110 concrete proposals. Not dogmatic proposals, but radical pragmatic proposals to change Europe. Change is that what we are out for. Radical change in the best interest of the people, and this is what we can deliver in the campaign, and this is what we can deliver also for the next mandate. Thank you very much.
Maria, as we are looking across Europe, we see great social inequalities, but also regional inequalities. What is our task as a progressive movement, and what is the ideas that is going to carry us forward?
Well, Johan, many thanks for this question. Let me just, first of all, to wish you a great, warm welcome to Lisbon. This is my hometown. This is where I feel better. But it's really a pleasure to work with you like that. And let me pick your question. Yes, we know that we start building the European Union to deliver a better life for all. But now this is not happening. Something is wrong. Because social inequalities and regional inequalities, they have been increasing, and particularly after the financial crisis and the Eurozone crisis. So something is deeply wrong. Well, let me tell you, first of all, we need to make conservatives EPP group, fully responsible for the state of the situation, because they were the ones imposing a blind austerity agenda in Europe. And social inequalities have increased everywhere because of this. This was completely wrong. And now we have a new one, a new opponent coming saying, look, Europe is not working. Let's give up of this. Let's go to national borders. And they are the nationalists, the authoritarians, the xenophobics, and they are pushing Europe for a completely wrong path. This would be a big mistake. So in front of these conservatives, nationalists, we, socialists, social democrats, progressives, we need to tell everywhere where is the truth. And the truth is, yes, we do need Europe, but another kind of Europe to fight against social inequalities, to make sure that we regulate the financial markets, to make sure that we improve our standards when we negotiate trade agreements, to make sure that we take ownership, governance of the current digital revolution, and to bring back cohesion, economic and social cohesion, to the European idea. And we have big initiatives in this direction. We are launching, all of us, we have a powerful family in the European Parliament, national parliaments, governments, local authorities, our commissioners, together, we have launched important initiatives. And we should be proud of this. But let me tell you, these initiatives now are being blocked by the conservatives. They are trying to resist. And that's why the upcoming European elections are so important. Because we need to tell the truth to our citizens and to bring their full support to move ahead with these big initiatives. Yes, we can reduce social inequalities. With this initiative we launched 1 year ago, the European Social Pillar, with all the prime ministers and European institutions and social partners in Gothenburg. But we need to translate the social pillar in the very concrete measures we have in mind. First of all, a child guarantee. And a child guarantee to fight child poverty. These should not happen in the 21st century Europe. And we need to combine these with proper work-life balance for men and women. Then we have our youth initiative, but we wanted to make strong in Europe the youth initiative. And then we just adopted a very important law in the European Parliament, making sure that everybody in Europe, whatever the job, whatever the sector, whatever the region, should count on two very important things. One is a decent labor contract, and the second one is full access to social protection all over the life cycle. This is pure social democracy. This is key to reconnect with citizens. And then, yes, we can also reduce regional inequalities by bringing about a European budget which will keep a strong commitment with cohesion, economic, social, regional cohesion, by bringing about something we still don't have but must have, which is a budget for the Eurozone, stop these divergences we have at the heart of the Eurozone. And then, yes, if conservatives are now telling that, well, this is utopian, we don't have the resources for this, let me tell you this is wrong. And we know this is wrong. Because the resources are there. We just need to go to the new sources of taxation, those who are using our markets but not paying proper taxes. That's why our flagship is for a digital tax, is for a financial transaction tax, is for the pollution taxes, we need to move forward, but in such a way, this will be fair. Udo is right. We need to push for this energy transition, but with a deep sense of social fairness. So we are prepared. We are prepared to move to the new phase of a European Union which should be asserting itself not just as a market or just a monetary zone. No, we need to have a political union based on democratic decisions and improving the daily life of all citizens. This is our ambition for the next phase. And of course, conservatives will be resisting to this. And of course, nationalists will also be resisting. So we need to defeat both of them. But let me tell you, and this is also for France. France, you can count on us. You'll be in the leading battle. But I really think that we have such a great family, with such a great experience, with such an important presence everywhere, that yes, we can regain the leadership of the European dream, and Lisbon is just the starting point.
Bravo.
Thank you very much, and we are counting on the group in the parliament, on the FEPs, to continue to lead us the way forward for elections. Thank you very much.